Okay, so no preamble needed here, right? I mean, there are people who haven't seen the Harry Potter movies, or maybe they haven't read the books, but I'm pretty sure you all know what it's about, right? Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, known in America as Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, is the first in a series about the adventures of a young wizard. Harry Potter is a kid who a dark wizard named Voldemort attempted to kill when he was a baby. You won't find out why until later in the series. But although Voldemort was able to kill Harry's parents, the killing curse rebounded off of Harry and struck Voldemort instead, seemingly destroying him, and leaving Harry with only a scar. Harry is raised by his aunt and uncle, who are assholes who treat him like crap and obviously favor their own son, a fat little bastard named Dudley. On Harry's birthday, he receives an invitation to wizarding school, but his aunt and uncle try to hide it from him and go through all sorts of elaborate schemes to stop the letters, which continue to come in increasingly creative ways. Eventually the school, Hogwarts, sends a big hairy dude named Hagrid to personally deliver the message. Harry goes off to wizarding school, where he finds he's already famous for defeating Voldemort as a baby, but throughout the film he becomes convinced that his potions teacher, Snape, is evil and is trying to steal a magical artifact, the Philosopher's Stone, from the bowels of the school. In the end, Harry and his friends Ron and Hermione go down into the bowels of the school to attempt to get the stone before Snape, and they have to deal with an insane gauntlet set up by the teachers to stop anyone from getting the stone. But Harry had the wrong teacher pegged for the bad guy. Instead, it's Professor Quirrell, who has a piece of Voldemort's soul grafted on the back of his head. Yeah, it's as creepy as it sounds. Harry manages to beat Quirrell through unusual powers that he doesn't quite understand and saves the day. The plot is, at its base, very simple, though as someone who knows quite a lot about the series, it's difficult not to talk about how everything ties into everything else. I am trying to keep this rather concise, after all. The movie was directed by Christopher Columbus and has an all-star cast for the adult wizards, while the kids are mostly picked based on physical appearance, though most of them turned out to be really nail the characters later in the series. The book is good, though it's easily the one book in the series that is definitely aimed at kids primarily, and I have some issues with the film version. It seems to me that too much attention was paid to recreating everything from the books as close as they could, and not enough to creating a cohesive and enjoyable movie. It seems formulaic and cartoonish in the sense that everyone was so concerned with getting everything to look perfect and be authentic that the result is a rather sterile film that has little to no personality. This would be fixed in later installments, especially when other directors took over the series, but the first Harry Potter is lacking any real feeling, and a lot of it seems to be based on forced grandiosity. While Harry's sense of wonder at entering the world of magic is an important part of the first film, one thing that they seem to have missed is that for the rest of the kids, this is normal everyday stuff. I do have to praise the ending for punching it up a bit to make it more cinematic. The verbose, intense ending of the book might not have worked too well on film, so with some special effects, though they are overdone, they managed to make the ending a bit more exciting. The acting for the most part is good. I would especially praise Maggie Smith for being perfectly cast as Minerva McGonagall, though I always felt Richard Harris as Dumbledore was miscast. He doesn't bring any energy to the character, and the feeling of raw power tempered by kindliness is instead replaced with a very stock, tired old wizard routine. That being said, is it a bad film? Well, it has its moments, and for its intended audience, it did a good enough job of transcribing the events of the book, but the feel of it is by the numbers and formulaic. These would get a lot better, but for the first film, it's just an average magical adventure movie that didn't do anything special. 5 out of 10.